Hi there, this is Art and Such with my Rainbow Loom tutorial for Geralt from the Witcher video game and upcoming movie. I've got him in his Manticore uniform right now, but if you want a different outfit for him, you can switch up the colors a little bit. For this tutorial, this pattern, I'm using a dark brown, a lighter brown, silver, some light gray, pale skin tone, white, and black. And for the eyes, I'm going to use a couple of small pearl beads. And you can use yellow bands, black beads, yellow beads, anything you like. And if you don't have colored beads that suit and you'd rather not use bands, you can use Sharpie markers to color in the eyes so he's got his nice little cat eyes. Alright, I think that's everything to start, so without further ado, let's get our hook going here. And I'll mention as well, you'll be wanting your loom offset configuration, a couple of C-clips, and I use some dental floss when I'm putting the eyes on, so that's something you might want to have on hand. For the arms, we're going to start with the gloves, and I'm using black for mine. Take 3 black bands, put them on the end of the hook together, twist and wrap 1, 2, 3 times. Pull that onto 2 black bands. If you're finding this is very difficult, you can rewrap those 3 one last time, or only wrap 2. I like the thickness is what I'm going for here though. And we're going to do another 2 bands. Oh, no, I did wrap. Okay. Take a single band, put it on the end, wrap 1, 2, 3 times. And bring that first piece over so that it sits in the middle. This will give more of a roundness to the top. And then this is going to go on to 2 bands. Try to keep it in order if you can. Replace. And onto 2 bands again. And then we'll be switching to white right away. We'll take 3 white bands. Oh, 2 white bands. Pull it through, and then 3 white bands. And 3 again. And then 4. And lastly, we'll put it onto 2, and this will give it a little bit of a thickness, and the last 2 are going to be the connecting, or the 2 that will connect it to the body. From here you can take 1 or 2 black bands, stretch it a little bit, bring it over the arm, twist, bring it over again, and one more time. You can kind of roll it up into place so that it looks like one of those ties or strings, one of the bands that he's got on his arm. In just a minute, we're going to do another one of these. Not sure why this is sticking so close here. Trying to roll it up a little bit. There we go. So you can adjust that to roughly where you want it. And you can leave this on the same hook or put it on a new one. I'm just going to leave it where it is and go to the next. And arm will go a little bit faster with 3 wrapped. 1, 2, 3. Hold on to 2. This is back to black again, as you can see. Making sure I've got all of those over. It's not sliding right, so that means we've got 1 more to bring over. Replace. Take a single, wrap it on the end. 1, 2, 3. Bring the first piece over so that it sits in between. Pull onto 2. Onto 2 again. Switch to white. We've got 2 3, 3, 4, and 2 one more time. Grab that single black, stretch it and twist it over that other arm. Okay. Let's make the legs next. Same thing, if you want to leave these here you can, or you can put them onto another hook. I'll show you what the legs look like again. Now you can decide if you've got two similar shades and you want the bottom to be darker than the boots to be darker, you can. You can make them black, silver, whichever. I'm going to stay all in brown again. I think our alarm's getting low on batteries there. Sorry about the beeping. For the boots, we're going to start with 3 of the same color. Put them on the end of the hook. Wrap it 1, 2, 3 times. And that will go onto 2 bands. And replace onto 2 bands again. And then we've got 1 doubled over single, also in the same color. So what that looks like is stretch, twist, bring it back over itself, put it on the end of the hook and slide it through. I'm just going to have a look here. Yep, okay. Now this part we'll do in just a minute. We're going to put a couple more sets on here. Actually, we could do that now. There were 3. Can take 2 or 3 bands. I'm going to use 3. I think that's what I did the first time. And just as with the arm, put it over the boot. Stretch, twist, bring it back over. Stretch, twist, bring it back over. And push it up as high as it will go. That's going to be kind of like the boot cuff. And then we can proceed with the rest of the leg. So at this point, if you want to switch colors, you can. We're going to do 6 sets with 3 bands each. This is 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. And 6. And then one more set, which I will put onto 4 bands of that same color. And if you're trying to save bands, you can leave it at 3 bands still. You know, maybe this time I will just do 3. Originally I did have 4 though. Gives them a little bit of added thickness near the thighs, and we're going to make, oops, something didn't go through right there. We're going to make another leg just the same. So 3 brown, 1, 2, 3, pulled on to 2, on to 2, and onto a doubled over single. I'll show you that again one more time slowly. Stretch, twist, back on top, onto the end and pull through. I'll take 3 bands and wrap them over that bottom part of the boot. And once again, if you are doing a different color for the leg, from your boot color, you could switch to your next color for this next part. Make sure these all get pulled up towards the hook. And 6 sets of 3 for the rest of the pant leg. And then the 1 set of 4 at the end. This is actually my boyfriend plays this video game, and he asked me to do this pattern probably close to a year ago when he was really big into it, and I've been awfully busy lately, but I did have it on my list, and now I've got a little bit of spare time, and I saw the movie was coming out. I thought this would be a good one for me to get done on my short-lived break here. Okay, so that was my 6 sets of 3, and we'll do 1 set of 4, and then we'll be done with the legs. They'll be just about ready to go on. I am going to take 2 pant colored bands though and run it through both of the legs. You can wait to do this later if you prefer. I'm going to do this so that they're right ready to pop on once we've got the body on the loom. So at this point I'll put my hook on the side, and I'm going to start laying out the bands onto the loom. Pick the color you want for your hair. You could do white, gray, silver. I would suggest you find something that's a little bit different from your skin tone, just so it doesn't like blend in too much. You're going to take 2, bring them from the top center to the top right, 2 from the top center to the top left. So we'll go, the next 2 will go on top. And then we'll come down 1, 2, 3 times on either side with double gray or hair color bands. Oh, you know what? I'm looking at my extension. We're going to come down once on each of those and then switch to skin tone for the next one. And at that point, I'm looking, hold on. So to skin tone, I'll just show you what I'm looking at here. So you can see it almost looks the same, but that's because this is my extension on top of the first layer, and there's the skin tone. So mine look actually very similar, but hopefully you can tell them apart here. And at this point you can decide if you don't want a beard, then your next set will be skin. If you want the little beard, then back to your hair color from the 3rd peg to the 4th peg. So that could be skin tone, or it could be beard color, and that'll be your choice. And the same for, no, actually the top one, double gray, and then we'll do 2 in skin tone. So 2 sets of 2 with the skin tone bands. 1 and 2. And this next one, if you want a beard, put it in the gray or white or whichever color you're using. If not, then that can be skin tone as well. And the last 2 sets coming in, beard or skin tone, 2 bands. Okay, so that's the basic frame for the face, and I think we'll just keep going with the face while we're here. Take a single skin tone, stretch, twist, bring it over itself, bring it across the 2nd pegs down. Repeat for the set underneath. Always makes me so sad to stretch out my nice skin tone bands, but it needs to be done for this kind of procedure, kind of part. And one more time below. Now this last one, if you're using a beard, you can use a gray or silver instead. Leave that up to you. These ones I have here unfortunately break really easily, but I'm going to risk it. Before we move on, let's do our eyes. So I'll show you, I did say I was going to use these pearls. If you want to use just a band, I'll very quickly show you how to do that. You can take your black or yellow, whichever color you'd prefer. wrap 1, 2, 3. Second one, 1, 2, 3. And we're actually going to take that band off of the second pegs down, or let me check my pattern here, maybe it was the next one. Oh, it was the next one. Off of the third pegs down. Keep it doubled over and pull your eyes on, and then you would replace it back. Okay. I'm going to use the beads again, so the way that I do this is I'll take a piece of very thin dental floss, or you could use a beading needle or a thin wire. I'm going to press it through both of the beads for the eyes. And these ones, as I said, already have pupils drawn in. Yours probably will not, and you can add the pupils afterwards once everything's in place and facing the right way. And this will be okay. So I've put my thread through both. I'm going to bring it through the band, and then I go back over and back through the 2 beads, which is mostly awkward on account of how I'm sitting here, but it's doable. I'll try and keep this on camera for you though. Sometimes this is really easy and goes smoothly. Sometimes it takes a little bit of pressing about. And if your beads do have a larger hole, you might be able to put them onto a small hook and transfer them that way onto the band, and it's always good. And I'm going to pull it until it's all the way onto the band, and then I can take the floss off or break the floss off and put this onto those third pegs down, which I might need my hook to help with. If you're having a terrible time, you can try doing it with the band not being doubled over, and then optionally do another doubled over band on that same peg, so that it's still got some nice tension there. I'm going to try and turn the pupils so that they face the back, because ultimately we're going to be turning this over. Whether you've used bands or beads, you're now going to put your hook back through between the 2 eyes and bring half of that piece, or part of that piece, back up over that third peg down. Okay, let's start laying out the body, and then we'll come back for the pegs, the side pegs, or side chains there. Grab 2 skin tone bands. Put them on the 5th peg down and bring them to the 6th peg down. And then you're going to take the color you want for the upper body. I'm using black again. 2 pegs down from the 6th center to the 6th side. Repeat to the other side. It's going to come down diagonally for the shoulder here. And I'm just going to do a count for you in the middle. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sets of double black. Starting at that 6th peg down. The reason that I'm continuing with the body before going on to the rest of the face is so that we can free up some space on the hook before we start doing any more chains or pieces. Okay, on either side we're going to do double black bands and come down. I think it's also 5 times. We should end up just below the center side. So it's 2, 3, 4, and 5. And repeat on the other side. Now we can get rid of we can get those arms and the legs out of the way. So the legs, we're going to take the double brown bands that the pants are on, and one side will go onto the 3rd peg from the bottom, on that last black, and the other will go across to the third peg up on the opposite side, like so. And you'll get between the legs and bring your brown band up over the third peg from the bottom in the middle. The arms now can go onto the 6th pegs down on either side. That's where we placed our first black bands on the side. Transfer them off of the hook and onto that peg. Repeat for the opposite side. If it helps, you can take them off of the hook and press them on with your fingers. And if you feel like the arms are kind of facing backwards, pop it up and flip it around. Like if this was curving more out than in, you could take it up and put it on the opposite way. Okay, let's do our securing bands on the body, or our holding bands, and then we'll go from there. So these are, I think my top one was just a single, and the rest, well, we'll do all of them as doubled over singles. I think that should be fun. Black twist over on top of itself, and it's going to go on the pegs just under the arms and form a triangle. And we'll repeat that on the next 3 sets below. Okay, next thing, while we're at this here, let's do the hair. For the hair, we're going to do the hair color, obviously. Take a single, wrap it on the hook once, twice, and this will go on to 6 sets of double bands of that color. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. We'll get this onto the loom, and then we'll do the same on the other side. So pick one side. This will go into the top side peg. The bands on your hook can transfer over. And we're going to stretch this down a little bit. Let me turn it this way so you can maybe see a little bit better. And you're going to see all of the links in the chains kind of stand out as you pull it apart. You're going to go to the chain, the next chain down from the top, pull one of those bands onto the second peg down, go to the next chain, pull one band onto the next peg, and stretch it a little more. Find your next little section, bring one over, and this will keep it nice and tight to the head. And now we're going to do this for the opposite side. Take a single, wrap it once and twice, pull it onto 2, and another 2. We're going to have the total of 6, a total of 6 sets again, so we need 4 more. Incidentally, I know that sometimes he wears a ponytail, so if that's an effect you want to make, you can you could actually skip this part and just stick a ponytail on afterwards, or do more chains so it's thicker and then pull them to the back. Those are a couple of options that you have in terms of the hair. And if you're using a blonde color, you'll get a slightly different effect, or I don't think I'd go with the gold. You could try white, but as I said, it might be a little too close to the face, and it's a little late now, so I'm going to keep going with what I've got here. Okay, we've got our eyes, hair, beard, optional, neck, our body, and now these parts here I'm going to be adding on when he's off the loom. But the only other thing, one other thing to consider is if you want him to have a thicker torso, we can do some side extensions, otherwise his body will be about this thin. So I do want his upper body to be a little thicker, and with that in mind, I'm going to take a single, wrap it twice, and we'll do just as we did on the top, but we'll have 5 sets of double bands instead of 6. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Bottom part is going to go onto the peg that has the legs on it. The piece that's on the hook will go onto the peg with the arm. It will go right on top of the arm. And grab a piece out of each chain to pull over the corresponding pegs. And they don't all have to be the bottommost, innermost peg, innermost part of the band. And they don't all have to be coming from the top, but do watch that your chain isn't doing a lot of twisting around. So if you can get most of them from the, like most of these pullovers from the inside, that's better than bringing them all from the outer part and bringing them over, because then it will start twisting on you. Let's make one of these for the other side. Wrap twice, pull onto 5 sets of double bands. We are almost ready to loop up here. And bottom piece will go onto the peg that has the legs, the peg leg peg. Can't even say that right there. And the piece that's on the hook goes onto the arm peg. And then we'll grab one piece of each section of chain to pull over the pegs in between, and then we can start looping this up. Okay, let's go on to under the 3rd peg from the bottom. Grab the 2 black bands, the open part of your hook pointing up. Bring them forward onto the next peg and proceed 3 more times. So we can do 4. We can go up 1 more time here until we reach the 6th peg from the top where the black had started. We'll come down to the side, and we're going to be looping up the bottom layer of black bands or short colored bands. So open part of your hook pointing up, push back the top 4 loops, grab those bottom ones, hold the top of the peg if you need to, and bring it around and onto the peg above. Push back, get your next 2, bring them forward, and we'll do this until we reach the arm. Watch out for the triangle holding bands. You don't want to bring one of those loose, or your body's going to lose some of its structural integrity, which is no good. When you get to the arm, reach in for the bottom 2, bring them to the center 6th down. If you need to turn the loom or use your fingers or pull the piece out to see it better, you can. We're going to go back on the other side. Turn your loom if you need to see better. Push back everything but the bottom 2 and bring them forward up each peg to the next until you reach the arm again. And reach through the arm attachment. Bring the last 2 in. Reach in for the bottom 2 skin tone. Push back all of those black bands. It doesn't want to go. See, I use my finger to help me there and bring that forward. If you're finding there's too much tension on your loom, you can loosen some of it up. If it's not a problem, then just keep going here. We'll loosen it as when we're ready to take it off. Now under the 2 that you just looped up, we're going to find the 2 grays or beard or skin that are closest to the top. Carefully bring them over to the left, unless you put them in the opposite order, in which case they'll be going to the right. Bring your next 2 to the right, and the last ones there will go up. So there should be nothing now showing under that 5th peg down. Let's loop up to the top in the middle now, so go to the fourth peg down, bring those two skin tones up, next two up, and one more. On either side, you're going to be going for the bottom 3 sets. 1, 2, 3. So we'll take your hook, open part facing up, push back, grab the bottom 2, bring them carefully forward, and place on. Push back your eye band, your extension, everything. Get the bottom 2, bring it carefully forward. And last time, these ones should be hair colored, bring it up. Reach in and loop the last 2 there to the center, and then we'll repeat this on the opposite side. Loop up on the far side. You can turn your loom around if you're having a hard time seeing. Make sure that you're getting, I'm not sure that I got that, I want to make sure, all of those bands as you go. I feel like I missed one. I did. There. Push back for the next 2, bring it forward. And push back for the last 2. And then reach in, bottom 2, bring them to the middle. Take a hair colored band, or 2 if you want to be extra careful here. As I said, these bands are prone to snapping, so I'm going to take 2. Put your hook through the top center peg with the open part pointed away from you. Catch those 2 bands and carefully bring it up. As you're coming up, you want to turn your pegs or your hook so that the open part faces up again. Put the other side on and bring one piece over the other and over the top of the hook. This will make a slip knot. Then you can keep this on the hook or your finger or a C-clip as we loosen the tension and take Geralt off of the loom. This really carefully. Try to use the back of your hook and not rip the pieces off, as I have a tendency to do when I get a little impatient after a long project. This one wasn't so bad though. If you've got him off already, just bear with me or jump ahead and we'll go to the next step presently. If you are ready and waiting, you can grab a C-clip. We will secure that piece in just a minute. Now we're ready to come off. Okay. Now you can pretty well decide, both sides are almost the same, so decide which side you want for the back and the front. The front, you can turn the eyes. Mine have pupils on already, so I do need to press them in the right direction. Yours probably don't have pupils, in which case you can pop them through on either side. And on the back, we're going to go through a couple of bands. Take your securing bands and pull them through, and then put it onto a C-clip. Now, I don't like my C-clips to flop around, so I will grab another band and put it in there just to hold it down. Okay, at this point you can, as I say, press your eyes through or your bands through. Draw on pupils if you find that it needs it. My eyes look really funny here. The dots came out a little lower than intended, which is why it's usually best to put the coloring on after. That's okay. We're gonna keep going here. My arm piece is falling down a little bit, so you can adjust that as you need to. And for the belts and the swords, you do have a couple of options. If you have tinfoil, cardboard and tinfoil, a packaging piece of wire, those are things you can use to create those pieces. You could use a popsicle stick if you want to use the bands. I'll show you how I went about doing that. So for the first sash, I'm going to take a single, wrap it once and twice, and it's going to go on to 10 doubled over single bands. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you don't want your belt to be quite as thick, you could do singles or doubles, but not doubled over. This will keep it sort of thin though. Like, I know it's thick, but it won't be a wide, broad belt either though. And I haven't done my belt all the way around, so if you do want it to be longer, you could use double the bands or just switch to singles part way. That's fine too. Mine, I just wanted to cover the front, so that's the length that I went for. And now I'm going to put it onto 3 singles, so here's 1, 2, and 3. This part is also not necessarily, you could just C-clip this on around the shoulder. I find this gives me a little more of a reach though. So I'll stretch it over. And I think I'm actually gonna get another hook here. Go through the bottom of the sash. So let me turn it around. So this is him backwards. And I'm gonna go through one of the bands on the side. Bring my belt piece over. I much prefer the little hooks, but I'm using it for the other, to hold the other side right now, so we'll muddle through with this. And then you can come to the top part here and kind of weave this in or weave it across, or you can add some extra pieces if you like. For me, I'm just going to go through a piece of the body, pull it through, go through another piece of the body, not too far away, pull it through. Do this 1 or 2 more times until I reach the piece that the rest of the belt is on. And then that can go onto a C-clip, and there's the first part of the sash. The second part is just a touch easier, I think, because for this next one, I'm going to do a single, wrap it twice. And then I'll do 5 doubled over singles, so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm going to take a single, pull it through, replace the other side, take that off for a minute, and now I'm going to reach through kind of the middle of the sash, or the upper middle. Take those 2 bands off my finger and pull them through, and then I'll continue to make that chain of doubled over singles. So let's do another 5, 4, 5, 1, put it on the hook, pull it through. So I've just added it to the piece that I started. 2, 3. Now you don't have to go through the first piece, you could just go over it, but I find this is a little less lumpy in the end. You could even do this with the belt as well. I find my belt kind of sticks out a little bit, but I think it's okay. And we'll connect it as we did the other piece. So now I'm going to go through one of the pieces on the side, pull it through, and you can put a C-clip here or weave it across. So under a band, bring the further one over the end of the hook, under a band, and this should eventually take us to that C-clip we've got. Or as I said, you can put on more of the brown to weave it across. And this piece is loose, so we need to secure that. I'm going to go through the bands on the top, go over the shoulder to the back, go under a black or a shirt colored band, bring it through, and you can weave this up to a C-clip you already have or put a new C-clip on, either is okay. I'll put this under here so that it stays. So that's the first part of the sash there. And the belt is going to be pretty well the same thing, except I decided not to bring it through the other two pieces. And we're going to do a single wrap it once or twice, and then doubled over single, doubled over single. You can decide how long you want this to be exactly. I think I can't remember how many I did, so I'm gonna try for 4, or count my original, and we'll see in a minute. It's 2, 3, might only have been 3 actually. Let's have a look here. No, 3 will do. And then you can take the band that you've got for your belt color. I have no idea where mine went to. I should have another in here somewhere. Oh, there it is. Double it over. Which is really hard with these bands. Bring it through, replace, and continue that chain 1, 2, 3 times. So with doubled over single belt colors, 1, 2, and 3. We'll see if this is a comfortable fit. It's a little snug. I'm going to take just a single and pull it through, and then I'll have a little bit of looseness here to pull that around. So I'll come to the back again. I've just turned him upside down, go under a band, bring it through, and I'm going to put this right onto that C-clip. Or you could weave them in differently, it's up to you. Go to the other side of the belt, bring it across. So this is the front of him again, even though his eyes look a little funny, so it's hard to tell here. Go through, go under a side piece, bring it around, and secure it onto that C-clip, or weave it in a little further if you need to. This is a busy C-clip. If you find your C-clip is getting too full, you can take off. I'll show you something I do sometimes. I'm gonna take off that last piece I put on. Oh, and here was another piece that was on it, which is what I was looking for here. So you can take another piece off. We're just gonna pretend that we didn't accidentally take that piece off and took it off deliberately. If that was sitting on the C-clip, you could take it off the C-clip, put your new one over it, and then put your new one on, and then you won't have quite as many loops on it. And turn it around, and that isn't the last thing, because I was going to show you how I did the little sword pieces too. So for these, I'll just show you for one. I'm going to use black here. I took 3, wrapped it once and twice, and then put it onto a set of doubled over singles, maybe 4, 5. So here's 1 doubled over single, same color, 2. As I said, you could use any kind of stick or metal piece, or cardboard or whatever for this, if you don't want to use bands, if you're looking for something a little bit stiffer. But I'll show you how to do a very basic over the shoulder kind of sword illusion. So that was about 3 wrapped nice and tight, pulled onto 3 or 4 singles, doubled over singles. And basically I'm gonna turn around to the back, position it where I want it, go through a couple of bands, pull them through, put it on a C-clip, and you're all set. And on this one I did a silver and a black one. And you could make these really long. You could do a very long chain. Instead of just having 3 or 4, you could make it really, really long and then stick it across the back. I'll just warn you though, sometimes, sometimes it will start to, you can expect it to do some curving as it gets longer though. All right, his eyes came out so funny here, but you can see on the original the potential for the eyes, what they can look like. And the body should be about the same here. Pop up those armbands, and your Geralt is ready. I would love to see if you use some different color schemes or try some of his other outfits. Please send me a picture on Instagram, Art and Such, and let me know what you've done. Alrighty, thank you for watching.